Okay, so let's go on to move one of the 24 YILU form. Um, you guys have all been through this before, so what I want to do is move us into kind of taking a little deeper bite into the form itself. So, at a certain point, um, the form becomes yours and you just have to practice it, right? But we're not quite at that point yet. So I want to try something a little bit different. And I wish Catherine was here, but I'm sure she'll watch the recording of this. And I wish Rand were here, but he's probably taking care of baby, so he's got his excuse built in. So what I want to do is we're going to take the form section by section, 4 sections. We're just going to work on the first section for the next 6 weeks. So 1 move per weekend, and that's going to seem relatively slow, but as you know, it adds up as time goes on and fills the hour out without any trouble. So the very first move, let's just do the traditional move. We sort of introduced it last weekend, but I'm going to start again from the beginning. The very first move, Master Zhang, my teacher, used to say, if you can truly get the first move, you'll get all of Tai Chi because everything's in the first move. And it is, actually. So let me just demonstrate. So that is the traditional first move. We're going to go ahead and play with that a little bit. We're not going to do the traditional moves for the rest of the form. But I thought it'd be a good idea to at least look at it in this first one and repeat what we did last weekend to differentiate between village Chen style, old Chen style, and Hunyuan Tai Chi, which is a form of Chen style, but it's the Beijing, one of the Beijing frames of Chen style, right? So do you all know what a frame is? There are 5 major styles of Tai Chi, right? 4 of them are all derived from the 5th one, and the 5th one is the oldest one, and the oldest one is Chen style. That's the style we do. Yang style, Hao style, Wu style, Sun style, all derive from Chen style. But Chen style has many variations. So different schools, different teachers came up with different ways to approach the study of this and to work it out. But they're all based on the same village Chen style. However, Hunyuan is not village Chen style. It is a Beijing frame. So how did that happen? In 1928, the lineage holder, the top man in Chen Village, moved to Beijing. Right? Why Beijing? Because that was like New York back then. So you're going to the big town, and hopefully you can make a little money there. Money was very scarce in China. And he started teaching, and he taught until I think 1955 in Beijing. And he was known as Tai Chi First Master. So when he got to Beijing, he held what's called Lai Tai. And a Lai Tai is an open challenge. They had around China, they had raised platforms for Lai Tai. So a Lai Tai, you declare a Lai Tai and you will take anybody on for 17 days. So for 17 days, he fought all the other martial artists in Beijing who came to challenge him, and he beat them all. He became Tai Chi first master, and then he began teaching. And eventually, he taught our grandmaster, and his that's the gentleman's name was Chen Fa Ke, became our grandmaster's teacher in Tai Chi. So we're doing Master Feng's version of Chen style, but it's a little different, all right? Because what he did was mix in a lot of Xin Yi, which is another internal martial art, and he mixed in some Tong Bei, which was his first, which is not a internal martial art, it's an external art. What was the first martial art that he had practiced, and he mixed in a lot of Hunyan Qigong. So it's Chen style, it's Xin Yi Xuan, and it's Tong Bei Xuan, right? With a lot of Qigong. And this is exactly how the martial arts continue to evolve in China. Somebody mentioned to Chen Xiang not too long ago, well, you're not doing what Master Feng used to do. And Chen Xiang said, well, what kind of a player would you be if all you do is copy your master? And he's right. You have to mix in your own way of doing things and create your own version, right? If it adheres to the basic principles of one particular style, then you can legitimately say, well, it's a frame of Chen style or Yang style. And in our case, it's a frame of Chen style. All right? And I want to do both the old village version of the first move as well as the Hunyan version of the first move, so you can see the difference. We talked about it last weekend, but I want to repeat it today, right? So again, old Chen style looks like this. But Hunyan, the same move looks like this. So why the difference? What's the difference between those two? Obviously, the Hunyan version begins with the same place that village style does too, with that movement. But then it adds this one in, and it adds that one in before you go on. So why did they do that? You should know from our discussion last weekend. Kevin, why did they do that?
They had the Qigong.
Yeah, they've essentially said, when you study Tai Chi, especially the first 10 years or so, don't spend all your time thinking about martial applications. Right? Instead, think about Qigong, because the real power in Tai Chi comes from Qigong. If you want to do martial applications, right, you have to develop your relationship with your energy body. Right? Mind and energy need to come together. And then the physical body comes in and the spiritual body comes in. So it's like, wow, it's really a very strong focus on Qigong. And that's the thing that really stands out in our frame. So when you do this, what are you doing? You have to know how to do that on the inside. It's not the physical body doing it, it's the mind leading the chi. If you don't do that, you're not capable of doing that, what you will do is you will try to fake it with the physical body and you'll hurt yourself. All right? If you know how to do it mentally and lead your chi correctly, you can do it without hurting yourself. So, what are you doing? Well, the first thing you can talk about is shifting your weight. Up on the right leg, down on the left leg. Now, I'm really exaggerating that, just like I did for the Qigong class earlier. Just a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Up on the right, down on the left. This is the right-handed version of this form. If you were doing the left-handed version, then it would be up on the left, down on the right. But we're going to stick with the right-handed version. Kevin will just have to figure it out on his own. All right. So there's the first thing. Shift your weight. So the first move is very tiny. Why do you want to shift your weight? Well, for two reasons. One is you need to get into the habit of always constantly shifting your weight. And I'll show you why if you don't know already. Put your weight 50-50 on your feet. 50, as 50-50 as you can get it, right? Now, without changing that, move a foot. You can't do it. If you want to move your left foot, you're going to have to shift your weight to the right, and then you can move your foot. If you want to move your right foot, then you need to shift your weight to the left. So you just get into the habit. And this is the basis of Qigong and the basis of Tai Chi. This is also how you begin to generate, how you activate the waist, and how you start to get into your energy body. So that's the first thing. Just shift your weight one to the other. All right. Second thing is up in front, through the body, down and back, under the crotch, up in front, down and back, up and front, down and back. You're rolling the dantian backward. You're rolling it backward. If you weren't rolling your dantian backwards, you wouldn't be able to do that. All right? It's the dantian rolls backwards and then goes down to the bottom of the feet. Boom. 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 Now, if you drop the dantian, if you just learn to do this so it all smooths out and the channels get clear, you can drop it very quickly. We're not dropping it quickly when we do the form. We're dropping it slowly. But if you learn to drop it slowly, then you can go a little faster. All right? And once you've gotten that down, all right, and I know that sounds very simple, but it usually takes a couple of years because you've got to clean your energy channels out. They're like corroded pipes, all right? Then you can just drop it very suddenly. If you don't do it this way, then what you'll do is you'll do it with your physical body from the shoulders. That won't do it. What you're doing is escaping from someone. Someone's got hold of you, right? I got both these things here. So you actually come up into their hands. Right? He's got hold of it. I come up into his hand. And then drop. Come up. He's going to feel that upward motion. So what is he going to do? He's got a hold of your hands. You come up. He's going to force them down again. So you come up to bait him. All right? And now he's pushing down. Boom. Drop it. Chances are you will escape. If you don't escape, what will happen is he'll get pulled forward like this. In which case you now can bring a knee up into his nose. Roll up the front, down the back. Every morning we do this exercise. Belly rolls, up the front, down the back, 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 up the front, down the back. We do it both directions, but we're just talking about the reverse one right now. Okay, the front to back dimension is called the Li dimension. And there's the side to side and level, but we'll talk about those later. All right? This whole move is in the Li dimension. All parts of it are in the Li dimension. So it kind of simplifies everything. All right? So this is a Li circle, a front to back circle, and it's a reverse Li circle because it's rolling backwards. Reverse Li circle. So one way you can define Hunyan in Hunyan Tai Chi is a spiral. This looks like a simple circle. But feel your body while it's doing this. Up on the right, down on the left. Can you feel the very subtle spirals going on inside your body? Once you feel those, then go with them, ride with them. And give them just a tiny little bit of extra juice. Jill, I'm going to ask you a question, but I think I already know the answer. When you were trying to hold that cat, was it squirming in spirals? Exactly. That's what animals do. Right? It's like everything is it's very hard to hold on to an animal that's spiraling and doesn't want to be held on to. And they may also be scratching and biting you, right? But just trying to hold them while they're doing all this. This is a version of that. It's like one little tenth of a second of a full spiral. And if you feel inside your body, you can feel how this is attached to the weight shift from foot to foot. Oh, just that weight shift starts everything in the body spiraling. Okay, if the Dan Chen is turning backward, that, in a certain sense, covers the entire body, from the crown chakra to the bottom of the feet. Everything is turning backwards. But we pay particular attention to the trunk itself. Right? Your arms and legs are parts of the trunk, but they're extensions of the trunk. So in addition to turning the Dan Chen, you also want to turn the energy in the whole trunk. And the way to do that is to pay attention to the energy channels in the body. The Renmai goes up and down the front from the perineum up to the tip of the tongue. I'm going to give you guys the details on this. I'm not sure I ever have before. Right? So from the perineum up through the throat to the tongue to the tip of the tongue. And then the Dumai starts on the roof of the mouth, runs up, and then all the way down the back to the perineum again. Right? So the two places where they join are the perineum and the mouth. You can learn a lot by thinking about that. What that is saying is your entire head and your upper palate is actually part of your back. Only the lower jaw is part of the front. All right? There's some really interesting things we could go into about that, and maybe I will at some point. But you can see how this ties in with the breathing technique. When the tip of your tongue is on the upper palate, you're completing the circuit, you're closing the circuit. When the tongue separates from the upper palate, you're separating the Renmai and the Dumai, right? And that keeps the qi from flowing. If you want it to flow, then you put the tip of the tongue on the upper palate, and now it's like a light switch, on, off, on, off, on, off. Right? When you're breathing in, right, that's on. It's all working inside. When you breathe out, it's not, it's off. Why? Why do you want to turn it off? There's a very simple reason. Watch.
It goes out.
That's what you're actually doing. Why? You maybe can tell from my vocalization. It's not that you want to make a vocal noise, like that's the point, is to make a scary noise. It's that you want your qi to go out your hands, not out your breath. This, when you are gathering qi, now my tongue is on the roof of my mouth. And that means everything inside is circulating freely, right? It's actually going backwards like this, all right? So I'm gathering, right? It's coming in. Yes, it's all working inside there. And now I'm going to use it. Boom, all right? When I use it, I don't want it all circulating, and I certainly don't want it all coming out my mouth with my breath, right? So I break the circuit. And now I can use it, it's coming out, boom, through my hands. Does that make sense, Jill? Okay. So the breathing technique is very practical. All right? It's, well, let's just say it's very practical. Okay, so that circulation of the energy through the trunk and the head is called the microcosmic orbit. Since we're going reverse, right, it's coming up the renmai over the top of the head, down the dumai under the crotch, right? It's circling the same direction the dantian is circling, right? Only now it's like this. So, for instance, you can see why this is such a good exercise. Just turn it into a Qigong exercise. All right, if you're going to do the microcosmic orbit and you're going to do this move, you also need to pay attention to the Zhongmai. The renmai is in front, the dumai is in back, the zhongmai is in the center. It means literally central channel. Chong means central, center. Mai means a channel. All right. Renmai is in front, dumai is in back, zhongmai is in the center. You are circulating a lot of energy through the renmai and dumai. It's the zhongmai that gives you stability, gives you central equilibrium. So it should not look like this. Uday. All right? Shouldn't look like this. All right? It's not that it's static. It's not static. It's dynamic, but it's very strong. If you think of the trunk of a beautiful big tree, it's like that. It's alive, but it's strong. So what happens, it stretches, condenses, stretches, condenses, stretches, condenses. It stretches, it condenses. Central channel stretches, it condenses. Stretches, condenses. Now here's the thing. Even when it condenses, it's also stretching. How is that possible? Well, it is possible. You all probably remember your high school biology class, right? Remember the structure inside trees. There's the phloem and there's the xylem. One carries water from the roots up to the tip of the branches. The other carries water and sugar, right, from the leaves and the upper branches down to the roots. So there's one flow going upward. At the same time, there's a second flow going downward at the same time. That's what's happening inside your body. And if you think about it, what is happening? One's going down, one's coming up. Oh, that's stretching. All right? But suppose we let the flows, instead of being super, super strong, right, suppose we just turn the intensity down a little bit. Oh, it's going to condense a little bit, right? You're losing some pressure. It's going to condense. So you're going to drop from the center chest into the lower back. boom. But the flow is still happening. It's just not quite as strong. So even though I'm condensing, something is still coming up as well as going down. Another way to think about it is you don't let your head drop. When you condense, you don't do this, because the upward going flow is still there. Right? Even though I'm condensing, there's still something going up to hold my head up, to keep my body straight. It's not static, it's very flexible and dynamic, but it's real. Think about this. What is it that's dropping? What is it that's rising? This is really important. What is dropping is heavy. What is going up is light. Water is heavy. Your chi is just like water or blood. All right? And when you just relax it, it's going to want to drop down. Water drops down. You don't even have to do anything. You're not forcing it down. It's just dropping on its own. You just relax and let it drop down. But your spirit is not associated with water, it's associated with fire. Fire wants to go up. You don't have to make it go up, it's just going to go up on its own. Right? So you relax and let the water drop down, and you let the fire come up. They will separate and move naturally. When we do the Qigong and we do the mixing, one thing you're doing is mixing chi and spirit. You're mixing all this together. But then you can separate them again. Right? Qi goes down, Shun goes up. Shun is your spirit. Right? Boom. And it's that's what extends your spine. Relax, extend. Relax, extend. Relax, extend. Okay, if you are going to extend your body, right, you're going to have to come up into the Tanzhong acupuncture point. Right, watch. Right. When you come up here, you don't move all your chi up here, but you move a little bit of chi up into here. Boom. Right. That's called having the chest of a tiger. When you relax, you relax back into this point in the lower back, in the lumbar area. It's the back of the Danshan. So Tanzhong, center chest, and then lower back. Center chest, lower back. Center chest, lower back. Center chest, lower back. Center chest, lower back. Okay, we've just talked about a lot of stuff. Every single move in Tai Chi uses those principles. That's why if you get the first move, you will get all of Tai Chi, because the principles are the same all the way through. The different moves are just variations on a theme. All right? So, shift your weight. All right. And up into the chest, down into the lower back. Up into the chest, lower back. Chest, lower back. Right. Dan Chen, reversely circle. Microcosmic orbit, Reversely circle. One more thing. It's too bad Kevin's not here because I could demonstrate. When you apply this movement, when you do this movement, it's very soft. Watch. Why is it soft? Well, a couple of reasons. One is you don't want to waste energy. The second thing is you're not practicing the martial part of it. You're practicing the Qigong part of it. If you don't get the Qigong, the martial part won't work. All right? So we're not training for martial arts. We're training for health arts. But it requires you to have a Xin Yi, a mental intention. And we're just going to use the martial mental intentions as a way of saying that this is the target we're shooting for. Suppose you go to an archery class, right? And you've got your bow, you've got some arrows, right? And you're going to shoot the arrows, but there's no target out there. There's no target. Well, what do I shoot at? Well, just shoot. Well, what do you mean just shoot? Shoot at what? All right? You have to have a target. Or what are you shooting for? You're just shooting into the air. All right? It's the same with Tai Chi. The target, in this case, is straight ahead. But the idea is not to focus on the target. The idea is to focus on everything that will accomplish your desire to get to the target. All right? If you've read Zen and the Art of Archery, it's exactly the same thing. It's a book about a guy who went to Japan and got into a Japanese archery class. And no matter whether he hit the bullseye or not, the teacher always told him it was wrong. Wrong, it's wrong, 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 until he was just going crazy. And then one day he just picked it up and he just went like that. He didn't even think about it. And the teacher went, "Oh, congratulations, you finally got it." What do you mean? What did I get? You weren't thinking about everything. You just did it. All right? It's shooting without any mind. No mind. You become the bow, you become the arrow, you become the target. Yeah, Kevin.
So my thinking is this is like integral in developing rollback.
This part is rollback, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
For those who don't,
Absolutely. So we haven't even gotten into that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But I want you to think about when you actually apply this move, there are different ways of applying it. The soft way to apply it, this would be if you were at a party and your boyfriend or your brother or somebody had one too many drinks and got kind of obnoxious and is coming up, I don't want to give you a big huggy kiss, right? And you just want to push him away. Get out of here, you crazy guy, right? You do it like this. Just use the palms of the hands on the chest. So just push him away. You're not trying to kill the guy. You're just trying to push him away. All right? If this is true self-defense, then what you're aiming for is not the chest. All right? Then in that case, you're aiming for the solar plexus. The tips of the fingers. You can even just do it with one hand. All right. Okay, to finish the class, well, you guys may have seen this before, but it won't hurt you to watch it again. We're going to watch a little 2-minute video of a guy demonstrating this move, essentially, on an MMA player. I want you to watch it. I want you to watch. He actually applies this very well. I'm not even sure he understood how to apply it, but he happened to apply it perfectly. That is the actual strike zone. The actual strike zone is right here. And I say it's about the solar plexus. Well, yeah, but that's not actually what it's about. We'll talk about what it's really about after you watch this. So hold on, I'm going to cue it up. Okay, so don't do this at home, kids. Now, seriously, I mean, I'm showing you this, but in fact, you can put somebody in the hospital, you can kill somebody that way.
I would say,
Kevin, I'm sure Kevin knows what's actually going on. Kevin, give us your analysis.
Well, right, you're hitting at the xiphoid process, which is the closest to your heart is to the your external part of your body, and you're sending all that energy right into the heart, and then all the vagus, all the nerves ending. It's all, yeah, it's crazy. You hit
Yeah,
me, you hit me with the 1 inch punch, but you used the upper chest shoulder, and you didn't do anything, and it felt like they're getting hit with a baseball bat.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you think two fingers, right? But also, did you notice him do this? He put his weight behind it. What is force? Mass times acceleration. Boom, like that. So that's actually quite a strong strike. And what you're essentially doing is hitting the guy in his heart. So you literally can kill somebody this way. Like I say, Jill, don't do this at home, all right?
well, I would question the guy who did it, like, was being completely irresponsible.
Why was he being irresponsible?
Well, he wasn't giving, I think, a really accurate, uh, like, what was about to happen, you know?
I don't think he expected, as he said, I don't think he expected to deliver quite as he's not a highly trained martial artist.
Oh,
He's kind of a little bit more of a trick artist, all right? These are not things that you should just play with because people can genuinely get hurt. However, don't forget this guy is a martial artist and a cage fighter. He's used to getting knocked around. And believe me, they knock each other around. So personally, I'm not worried about um, whether it was right or wrong. If he had done that into his throat, it would have been different because he truly could have maimed the guy, right? Nevertheless. But the point of it uh, is maybe not to worry about that part of it, but just to understand what it is you're actually doing. Tai Chi, in its application, Tai Chi is not done slowly. All right. What is? We'll talk about this tomorrow. What is this? What is that, and what is it for? Boom. All right. If you truly want to do Tai Chi, you need to understand what it is you're doing every moment of the form. And the form is 12 minutes long. This is, how long is this? Maybe 2 seconds? So you need to know every second of the form exactly what's going on. If you don't, then you can't have the correct Shin Yi. If you don't have the correct Shin Yi, you can't develop the right Negong, the right internal skill. If you don't have the right internal skill, you're not actually doing Tai Chi. Tai Chi is an internal martial art. It's the mind and the energy body. It's not the outer physical body. Or you could say the outer physical body. So just just learning. Oh, I learned Tai Chi. I do this. No, that's not Tai Chi. It's a Tai Chi like dance, but it's not actually Tai Chi. All right? If you really want to learn Tai Chi, you have to learn the Neigong. And if you're going to learn the Neigong, you have to know what the Shin Yi is. All right? And if you want to know all that stuff, you have to understand how the energy body works. And when you get all that stuff and mix it all together, then you've really got something. Not in order to be a martial artist, but just to be more in your body. As you think about this, your Neigong is not something that Tai Chi gives you. You've already got it. All right? It's about training it. Everybody can type on a keyboard. Every human being can type on a keyboard. But the first time you sit down and try and do it, you'll just go with 2 fingers. It takes some training to get to up to 120 words a minute with no mistakes, like Annie does. All right? That takes some training, but it's not, the training doesn't give you the capacity, it just trains the capacity. All right, let's meet again tomorrow, all right, and we'll go into the Xinyi and the Neigong on this. All right, see you tomorrow.